gummy bear.
Is the music not playing? Couldn't tell if the music was playing. It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for August 15th, 2024. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, Dragon Age 4 gets a release date. So does Plucky Squire, and are more Xbox games headed to PS5? Almost certainly. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host, the Game Mess Mornings. It's Jan Ochoa, everybody. Jan, how are you doing?
I'm buzzing with excitement, Jeff Grubb. I have never, I'm just happy to be here.
Yes, I'm
ready to protect the hive.
Oh, honey, me too. I'm just always looking forward to just flying with my homie here, and that's what we're doing today.
Queen.
Queen bees up in this business. Here we are.
Grubb, I'm just going to announce this now, all right? I'm just going to, we haven't cleared this with
ideas. I like this.
We haven't cleared this with anyone else.
It's just me and Jan riffing on a Thursday morning.
In 2 weeks, August 26th.
Oh, we're putting a date on it. Hell yeah, let's fucking go.
Yes. Folks, we're going to rip the Band-Aid off. It's going to be B Week here at Giant Bomb. That's right. Every stream, it's going to be bee related.
Bee themed week here on Giant Bomb. You know, Shark Week, it can go to screw itself. It's going to go to hell. Shark Week. It's all about Bee Week now here on Giant Bomb.
That's right. Show me some bees in chat.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay. We have to have a Buck Bumble emote, right? Probably, maybe not.
We surprisingly don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're also next week, while these folks are in Germany, we'll be doing August. We're gonna be playing a lot of scary games and stuff. So themed week's coming up, everybody. We just like this idea. I really do. I'm very excited about it. Couple things, Jam. It was brought to my attention by Christian from Argentina that Dan, who was in a hotel in Europe, is saying his AC isn't working very well. Do you think it's possible that he doesn't know it's Celsius?
That hasn't occurred to me.
It did not to me either. And now I'm very excited about the possibility.
Huh. Well, I mean, I would assume that we've heard from our...
Oh my God, right? Because he's probably set it to like 60, and that would be very hot.
Our peers from the, across the pond have said that there are hotels with AC. They're just not built very well, I guess. But that is a distinct possibility.
I need to know. I would assume he would see the sea and be like, oh yeah, whatever. I'll just set it to its lowest. But there is a possibility. It's like, well, I mean, I don't know what you need to set air conditioning when it's set to Celsius to like be cold, but like set it to 15. You'd be like, well, that's way too cold. I don't want this to be an icebox. That could occur to him.
I would assume though that Dan would just like see the Celsius and just like jam that as low as possible,
right? Because it's a hotel room. Yeah, right. Maybe the number's throwing him off, but I would assume that that's what he did. We need to know. He's in London. That place is run down, right? I don't know. They don't have anything there. It's like the Renaissance Festival.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
They don't even drink water in Europe, so I don't think that their air conditioning not working well. That makes a lot.
It's going to be great for Mike Minotti since they don't drink water.
Yes. Oh, he's going to love that. The no air conditioning will kill him, but he'll just be happy. He'll die happy knowing that no one's drinking water. The other thing, I did post on Twitter that we got denied a review code because we missed an appointment. I'm never going to say the game. It doesn't matter. It was totally our fault. But I'm just like sitting there thinking, I'm like, God, I really do respect that. I'm like, the fact that I'm like, hey, can we get this code to do some work so we can cover your game or whatever? Like, this is the job. And they're like, you missed an appointment, so we couldn't get approval. I'm like, yeah, sounds right. Like I get it. It's totally a reminder of like the relationship we have here, and that so many people have this idea in their head that it's you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. If we get review codes, we're gonna get those clicks and we'll get the money, and that just isn't, for one thing, isn't real. Two, is not something that I've ever thought about. And what we actually think about is like, oh, I'm working at a corporation and I'm talking to another person who's working at a corporation, and all they're really asking for is for me to respect their time and not like waste it like I did when we missed the appointment. So I don't know. I just, again, really respect it. It was a power move, but one that was deserved and earned.
Yeah. I respect it. I respect it as well. You know what? I get it. We get it.
Exactly. Yes. It's going forward, I'm going to be a little bit more mindful. I had consequences and now I will improve my behavior. That sounds nice to me. We'll try to do it.
Consequences for our actions, Grubb?
Yeah, what? I know, right? That is one thing I am worried about, though, is telling people that consequences is the way to get me to do things. And I already saw like Tinsley, who's another PR person in the industry, Stephanie Tinsley, was like, oh, this is how it works, huh? I'm like, oh shit, never mind. Please don't give me more consequences, because that actually will get me to change my behavior, and I don't want to do that.
Don't tell our expenses department that there should be consequences either.
No, definitely not. Let's spare them. Let's keep them out of the loop. All right, let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you were watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings, or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have plenty to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Dragon Age: The Veilguard launches October 31st. This is confirmed, this might not be confirmed, but they are going to confirm it today. This leaked a little bit early. Sal Romano at Gamatsu has it. Dragon Age: The Veilguard will launch for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC via Steam and Epic Game Store on October 31st, according to a leaked video advertisement. This sounds about right. Halloween, you're going to be playing this. Now, it's an EA game. I think for all their big games, they do the thing where it's like if you spend $100, you get it 5 days early. So people will be playing it on like the 26th or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like a fair enough time. It's always weird like releasing a game that's not a horror game on Halloween, but whatever. Like that, the next day will not be Halloween anymore, and the game will still be on sale. So completely fair. Are you excited? Are you ready for this one?
Yeah, I think I was initially off-put by the sudden name change, and it felt like a weird move to do, but I think we've all bounced back from that and have just been okay with whatever the Veilguard is supposed to be. Every trailer I've seen since then, every news update, I've been more and more interested, and I blame Lucy James for this because of her Dragon Age perversion.
That's right.
And Grubb, do you think I have to dip back into the original Dragon Ages to appreciate this one, or it seems like I'm able to just dive into this like sight unseen for the most part?
The way it seems to me is that if you are at all familiar with Inquisition, you're probably going to be good with this one. There's definitely going to be stuff that like carries through all of the games, especially lore wise. But if you like brush up on what happened in Inquisition, you'll be fine to just hop in here.
Okay.
And I think Inquisition was one of those games that came out in that year where it was a little bit of a lighter year, and it kind of won some Game of the Year awards. And it's a good game, but I don't think anyone really felt like it was a great playing game. There's definitely people who love it and love the story and love the characters and want to spend more time in that world, and all that's true. But you can get all that again by maybe watching a YouTube recap and then carrying that stuff forward into the Veilguard.
Well, hopefully our friends at GameSpot are working on that, so I can just watch that.
Exactly. Yes, you can usually count on them for something like that. I also think that this new trailer here, which people who are watching the video version are seeing, looks more in line with what I think people want from Dragon Age. This is not the cinematic tone piece that they did, the style piece, I suppose, even at Summer Game Fest, where there was some pop song playing and the characters looked different than they actually look in model in the game. This looks like a cutscene from the game, and I think everything looks pretty good. How do you feel about the presentation of this trailer?
I think I feel fine for the most part, Grubb. I will say, though, that because branding is so strong, I am initially off-put when I see the logo all in purple, because my mind has grown to associate purple with Saints Row.
Sure. Yes,
and
the Third Street Saints are going to be in this game.
Yeah, the last Saints Row left such a bad taste in my mouth that like I somewhat recoil when I see that, but it's like, oh, Dragon Age. Okay, cool. People like Dragon Age.
Yep. Yeah, this looks promising. But October 31st, out for, the big systems, new gen systems, I should say. I have it on my Fantasy Critics, so I hope it's good. Also hope it's good for everyone who really likes Dragon Age. I will probably get into this one. I played some Dragon Age Inquisition. I don't know if I ever got out of the Hinterlands. Is that what it was? I think maybe I got a little bit out of it, but I did not complete that game in any way, shape, or form. But I always think Dragon Age is interesting. Even from the origins, definitely had a lot of cool intrigue and politics happening in its lore that I found fascinating. And then I look at this game, and as much as I do like turn-based combat, the action combat in here looks pretty good. Someone mentioned in chat it looks a lot like D&D. It looks like a lot like a live-action D&D adaptation in some ways. I'm sorry, not live action, but real-time combat adaptation of the D&D systems, and that seems promising too. So I don't know, looking forward to it.
D&D is, in a major upswing all over again, Grubb.
Yep.
John Barenthal's into it.
That's right. That video is really good.
The D&D movie is surprisingly pretty good.
It's one of those movies that I'm like, anytime I get in the mood to watch it, and I'm like, I don't know, I think I'm going to watch the rest of that or watch it again and stuff like that. So yeah. All right, let's move along here. Rumor is that a new Xbox game will arrive on PlayStation next week. This is from Alex Hopley at Game Reactor. Whether you like the decision or not, it's pretty clear by now that Xbox is quite happy to let games that were previously only available on its console and Windows PCs to head to other platforms. And now, a new game could be lined up to jump to PlayStation. In a thread on Reset Era, a user asked known insider Shinobi602 when the next round of ported games would be coming, to which Shinobi responded by saying, "What are you doing next week?" A clear indication of when we might see more games, at least announced for PS5. And it's worth noting that Shinobi went on to clarify that he doesn't know if we're getting multiple ports, but there's at least one game in there. Speculation initially pointed to the game being Forza Horizon 5, but Jez Corden of Windows Central believes that isn't the case, so it seems speculation remains up in the air for what the game could be. Yeah, more games are going to come to PS5. They've kind of been mostly clear about this. Obviously, they've had some sort of back and forth when they talk publicly, but whenever we hear about the conversations happening internally at Xbox and Microsoft as a whole, it's, hey, why not everything? And then there's some pushback against that, but there's no, it doesn't seem to be any indication that there's something where it's like, well, no more games should go to PS5. They're at least considering some more games coming to PS5. So not Forza Horizon, at least according to Jez. That honestly, I'm like, why not Forza Horizon? That's a game, a franchise that they have to take off of sale after a few years because of licensing cars and all that stuff. So you're getting closer and closer to that. Why not sell that game right now on PlayStation, get even more money, let that team work on something even bigger next time? But I don't know. What do you think? And do you think it could be something as big as Halo, Starfield, something smaller?
Forza was honestly the first guess I had until I kept reading with the story, just because there are the Gran Turismo audience is a pretty big audience that remains relatively quiet. And then another car perversion game could really appease that audience. Grubb, I'm a little surprised that Halo wasn't part of the first wave, but I could see Halo being part of that, just to try and boost that that install base. Starfield, I don't know, because I feel like they would have to do a lot of work to that game to get it to go on the PS5. My shot in the dark here is Microsoft Flight Simulator.
I like that answer a lot. Flight Simulator sounds like a real possibility, because why not? Who cares about that one at all in terms of I can play it on my PS5. It's a PC game. Let's be real.
Yeah. I mean, imagine that with PSVR 2.
Yep.
And that seems like a no-brainer to me. I don't know if Microsoft is intentionally possibly doing PlayStation a solid there, but Flight Sim I think would be great on the PS5. God, but what else does Microsoft have? Do we see like an old Gears collection?
Yeah, the Gears collection's been rumored for a long time. That feels like, they definitely have that new Gears coming. At a certain point, one way to get people excited about that new Gears is a really good Gears collection, which I think makes sense, but I've never heard one way or the other about that existing for real. People are in chat were mentioning Rare Replay. That is a little bit tougher because that's not even on PC, right? And I would love it on the Switch or PS5, whatever, but I would love it on the Switch. But half of those games, around half of those games, the big ones, the more recent ones, all use the Xbox backward compatibility thing, where it's like, you have the game here, but it's going to launch that game using the Xbox's like backward compatibility stuff, and then their emulation stuff for the N64 games. And so all that stuff kind of exists separate from the package of the game itself. So they would have to do even more work to get that working. And I don't know if they don't seem to have the appetite for that. Rare is busy, making more content for Sea of Thieves. A Flight Simulator seems reasonable to me. Could be some other smaller stuff. Exactly what that would be. Because they've already done like Grounded and stuff like that. So I'm not sure what it would be exactly, but Flight Simulator sounds like a real possibility. And the Flight Simulator 2024 is coming out soon. It's got 2024 in the name. Putting out the original Flight Simulator on PS5 right now to kind of help boost that seems to be in line with the strategy that they're going for here, which is number one, make more money by selling these games to an audience on PS5 that hasn't played them before, and number two, keeping some of these franchises fresh in people's minds as we have new content, similar to what PlayStation does with their PC releases as they have sequels coming out to PS5, right?
Is State of Decay exclusive to Xbox?
Yes. I don't think State of Decay has come out on PlayStation yet. It's on PC, of course, but State of Decay 2? Yes, State of Decay 2 on PS5, because State of Decay 3 also coming. That also makes sense.
We've seen that the PlayStation audience loves their very weird, hyper-specific zombie games. With that one motorcycle love zombie game that I forget about.
Sons of Anarchy, the game, I think is what it's called. Real quick. Tam is out there putting on a brave face, as Jamie H points out. That rumored collection of Legacy of Kain games. It's confirmed now. It's from Evercade, and it's a cartridge for the Evercade handheld, which is a pretty neat thing. But they put it on a cartridge or a card, whatever, and it includes Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain, and Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. Now you can play those games together there. It doesn't seem to be too much of a like remaster or anything. But hey, there's the Legacy of Kain collection for y'all. And Tam says he'll take it. He says, it's not what I expected, but I'll take it. So the number one Soul Reaver fan out there has given his blessing. They're lucky over there at Crystal Dynamics that he said that. So I'd be worried if he didn't.
Ooh. Is there a possibility of seeing Sunset Overdrive?
That maybe. I think that is something that I feel like they said recently, like they might not do that for some reason, but who knows what that. I could be misremembering that, and also maybe that doesn't mean exactly what I think it means. But that is one that at this point I think PlayStation does mostly own. I can't keep track of it because that's Insomniac, right? And but Xbox published it, so there might still be some involvement there. That's one where it's like, actually getting all that stuff lined up might be difficult and not worth it. And that game never sold great in the first place, but it's a possibility. I wouldn't hate it. I like that game fine. I never loved it the way some people did.
I know it's already out on the PS4, but Psychonauts 2?
Psychonauts 2, yeah. No, Psychonauts 2 did launch on PlayStation. That was one that was like, I think it was originally being published by someone else when Microsoft made the acquisition, so it came out everywhere. I think it was on
okay.
Yeah, PS4, so maybe a PS5 version. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Right. So, yeah, I guess that could happen. Jason Finelli says, could be a Hellblade 2 port. Honestly, why not give that game a little bit more love? I mean, Hellblade 1 was originally a PlayStation game, so there's going to be people who are going to want to, finish the story. Probably Cody out there waiting to play Hellblade 2. I don't know.
I don't think that's Cody's bag, actually.
Probably not his bag, no. All right. that'll be today's poll question, everybody. So let me know if you have any other options you want us to add to the poll when we get there. But yeah, that'll be the poll question that we'll have for tomorrow's show. All right, moving on. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. Potential release date briefly appears online before being deleted. This is from Jordan Midler at VGC. A potential release date for Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection appeared online briefly before it was deleted. A release date of November 22nd was listed on the game's page on UK retailer Shop2 before it was quickly removed. Before it was taken down, screenshots of the release date were posted on Reset Era. VGC can confirm the legitimacy of the original listing. Whether the listing was changed due to inaccuracy or because Capcom has yet to announce a release date is unknown. The collection, which was announced earlier this year, will be released on Nintendo Switch, PS4, and PC, but not Microsoft's consoles. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection will include X-Men Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom Clash of Superheroes, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, New Age of Heroes, and The Punisher. Yeah, November 22nd sounds reasonable. We haven't heard a date for this yet, probably because it is coming much later in the year. And November 22nd, I don't know if people know this, is much later in the year. So that all lines up, I suppose. But it's just as likely that that's someone just throwing a date in there. That doesn't mean anything. But as with, we were saying, hey, next week for the Xbox game getting announced for PlayStation, there's a possibility that and this maybe get announced at Gamescom, right?
Yeah, that's a strong possibility, Grubb. Gosh, I guess in my head, I had only associated the Marvel versus Capcom games being part of this collection. And then a childlike glee lit up inside of me when I saw Marvel superheroes listed here.
That's right.
I think that is probably responsible for a lot of people in our demographic, Grubb, knowing or even learning what the heck Shuma Gorath is.
Mm-hmm. That's right. It's God, yeah, that's a good thing right there. It is an exciting collection. Clearly, one of the, Sean's favorite moment is like popping off for that, and I agree. But yeah, Capcom's got something here. They're going to try to get it right, make sure that when it does come out, people that is as good as it can be, and people get a chance to get their hands on it. So yeah, I think we get the opening night live at Gamescom, and this could easily be a release date for this. Would be another thing that'd be nice to have at a show like that. So and Capcom, as much as it knows that it has the fighting game audience's attention with this. It makes sense to then, okay, let's go to that broader audience and try to take some of that excitement and enthusiasm and let it infect the wider audience that is paying attention to opening night live because of Jeff Keighley. And I think that is a good strategy. So we'll see.
I also think, we've talked about Marvel's slump as of late, but Deadpool, Wolverine, what is that movie actually called? Deadpool and Wolverine?
Yeah, I said Deadpool versus Wolverine, which isn't true. I don't.
That's what I assumed it was too for a second.
It's something. It's
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, just Deadpool and Wolverine. All right.
Has kind of, not done a dramatic 180, but let's say a 170 on the public perception of Marvel, and along with all the announcements from this past Comic-Con, that I could see this being a good dip into that renewed excitement, as well as like capitalizing off of the nostalgia for these games, and hopefully Grubb just introducing these to a whole new generation of like the FGC. Yep. I'd be super duper interested to see like what these young cats out there would do with an easier version of this game to play.
I hope it really is laying the. Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Also, X-Men 97, right?
Yes, right. That's what I was. Yeah, I hope this is laying the foundation for making new games based on the stuff that is awesome now. If what came out of this was, here is an X-Men 97 game that we set a certain budget for, and we spent 2 years making, but it has, the Capcom shine to it right now. Like, we're very versed in our technology, so we know how to make these games, and we can kind of make it in a way that is reasonable. But here is an X-Men 97 fighting game, and then years later, we're building on that. Then we're making X-Men versus Street Fighter again, even. And then I just want them to actually get back to the path of making a lot of these games, not just here's your Marvel versus Capcom again, which I want them to do eventually. But I kind of want them to build up to that again and play around in some of these smaller spaces a little bit first. If it does come to the more likely scenario is here's just a new Marvel versus Capcom, and is that even likely? But it's more likely than what I'm describing, and I would be fine if that had a ton of references to stuff like X-Men '97 in it. But I just think Capcom is in a space, the way they're talking about their fighting games right now, where they're like, we want to bring back all of our classic fighting games. I hope that is. Then the next step is, okay, so we've brought all these back. Now on these off years, kind of similar to what they do with Resident Evil, here's something new. And that's going to stoke the flames of the fighting game community for many years to come.
John Drake, make it happen, please.
Yep.
Forget about Quackshot. Just make this happen, please.
Yeah, you can put Quackshot in Marvel vs. Capcom eventually.
Ooh. Grubb, I don't know why I just popped myself in my head, but if I hear Yuri Lowenthal say Maximum Spider, I will kind of lose my shit.
That would be really cool. Yep. I don't know. There's just so much fun stuff they could do with that at this point. So I hope, and it seems like Capcom could very easily get back to that space. All right.
I will buy a hit, not a hit stick. That's Madden. That's a truck stick.
Truck stick, yeah.
You'll hand thing,
the flat stick, yes, a leverless fighting stick controller.
Yes.
Those things they rule. You should get one.
Razor Holler.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. When we get back, plenty more headlines, including the release date for the Plucky Squire. Right after this. All right, we are back, and as promised, more headlines. The Plucky Squire release date is set for September. This is from Nintendo Everything. The Plucky Squire finally has a release date. It'll come to Switch and other platforms on September 17th, 2024. Publisher Devolver Digital, and developer All Possible Futures announced today. The Plucky Squire was first revealed just over 2 years ago. While the action-adventure title was originally slated for 2023, that didn't end up happening. The game later ended up being delayed to this year, and now it actually is coming out. This game is, for people that don't remember, and I'll play the reveal trailer here for people watching. It's kind of that storybook looking game where there is a character literally in a storybook and he kind of runs around the pages. You control him in the pages and it looks great. But then he can jump out of the pages and into the room that the book is sitting in to jump to other like adventures. And it looks incredible. And I've been looking forward to this for a while. And it's like, okay, it's finally here. It's really going to happen. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I'm super duper interested in this. I'm curious to see the different art styles that they've prepared. We've seen a couple of them when the Plucky Squire dipped out of the book and into the real world. Genuinely curious. Also, I love the style of game where it's like a Legend of Zelda-esque.
Yeah.
God, it looks so pretty. It looks so cute, Grubb.
Really cute and pretty. It's actually moving around the world does like a lot of games recently. Like, thank goodness you're here. Look like running around a oh, this is neat. I saw this, but this is so good. It looks a lot like running around a Cartoon Network show. And now in this trailer, as he's revealing the date, he's just picking up items and putting the pieces together. So it's coming out September 17th, 2024. There you go, everybody. I continue to be really into this whole idea. I'm glad that they are able to see it through and that it's not getting another delay. Although I think Sean might have this on his fantasy critic, so I wouldn't have hated a delay, but here we are. September 17th. I'll be looking forward to playing it then. Might have more to say about that game here pretty soon. Let y'all know. All right. Timesplitters for PS2, Timesplitters PS2 Trilogy arrives on PlayStation Plus next week. This is from Zach Zweisen at Kotaku. The complete Timesplitters trilogy on PS2 will soon be available to play on PS4 and PS5 later this month. On top of that awesome news, a solid list of older games like The Witcher 3 and Ride 5 will also be available to PS Plus Extra and Premium members next week. On August 14th, PlayStation officially announced the next round of PS Plus Extra and Premium games that will be added to the service's game catalog. These new games will be available starting August 20th. I'm really excited to see Timesplitters Trilogy arrive on PS4 and PS5 as new PS2 classics. The Timesplitters games are wonderfully fun sci-fi shooters and that feature awesome GoldenEye-esque first-person shooter combat, as well as some good jokes and gags. I have the full list of games here. We'll go over it. Starting on August 20th, PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium both will get The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Wild Hearts Standard Edition. That's one we both enjoyed. Cult of the Lamb, Ride 5, Watch Dogs 2, a bunch of Sword Art Online games, I guess. Yeah, Alicization, Lacrosis, Last Recollection.
Those aren't real.
Those are definitely not real words. Fatal Bullet, Hollow Realization. Okay, whatever. And then Naruto Toburo, it's Shinobi Striker. I really hate that his son's name is Boruto. I hate saying it.
It's all right. He hates his son too.
Good. PlayStation Premium only will get Vacation Simulator, Timesplitters, Timesplitters 2, Timesplitters Future Perfect, and then Sword Art Online Lost Song. So saving the best for last, I guess. Yeah, that's great. I can't remember what PlayStation Network thing I have, PlayStation Plus thing I have. I definitely had to re-up recently because we played a game online or was doing something online on my PS5. And I think I might have actually just gotten premium. I just bit the bullet and paid for that. I might even got like a year of premium. So I have this. I should take advantage of it. I almost never get these games on PlayStation Premium, and I should.
Yeah, 100%. As you know, every time we reach that point in each month where we go through the new titles available on PlayStation Premium and the whatever tiers are called, I keep being enticed of like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yep,
that's not bad. And I think the curation they're doing is pretty interesting as well. Like, I've been kind of curious to dip into The Witcher. We were talking about Wild Hearts like a couple of weeks ago, I feel like, Grubb.
That's right.
And then I had no idea there were this many Sword Art Online games.
I did not either. I don't even know what a Sword Art Online game looks like. And
I think for shoot, it's an isekai.
That sounds familiar for like there's an anime, right? And it is just called, the anime is also called Sword Art Online. Is this the one where your head explodes if you stop playing or something?
No.
Okay.
Maybe it is?
Yes.
Oh, gosh. Okay. All right.
And do you know why I know that? Because a certain Palmer Lucky was like, I want to make that real. Fucking dweeb. Get a life, loser. All right. Sorry.
Oh, Lord.
That fucking sucks. All right. I'm not going to play any Sword Art Online games. I'm sorry. I'm a grown man. Next up, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is delayed. Release date set for February 2025. This is from Eddie McHugh and George Yang at GameSpot. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2's release date may have been leaked by a retailer, and it looks like it's slated for next year rather than 2024. According to Best Buy, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is set to release on February 11th, 2025. While Best Buy has since amended the listing and changed it to not announced, Walmart still has it listed for the same date as well. Update, Embracer, and developer Warhorse have confirmed that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is now set for release on February 11th, 2025. While fans will have to wait a while longer for the game, Warhorse will show off 20-plus minutes of footage at Gamescom next week and make various other announcements. So we'll see more of this pretty soon. This will be another one that's going to be an opening night live that's been confirmed previously. Kingdom Come Deliverance was that sort of Skyrim-inspired open world RPG, but set in a historical setting, like an accurate world historical setting in medieval times, I guess. I don't know. Kingdom Come times, I suppose. It was interesting. It didn't really work for me all that well, but that doesn't mean a sequel can't. We'll see.
Sure.
But yeah, they have a lot to prove, and they have a chance to do it here. And delaying it a little bit probably makes some sense. It did seem like it was supposed to come out this year. I think they said that previously.
Yes.
But February, that does get it out of the way of a lot of games now. Although, did you get the sense that in the next month or two, Jan, the early parts of 2025 are going to get filled up real fast?
Oh, 100%, Grubb. Especially after Gamescom, I feel like we were talking on the Bombcast that there's going to be a Nintendo Direct coming up soon. Allegedly, folks, don't.
Yeah, we don't know for sure.
Put the keyboards away. But also, we have to see what the landscape of 2025 will look like. People trying to get out of the way of GTA 6, or just trying to delay games now and just move to that window to claim that spot before the calendar completely fills up. And it's already looking pretty full, Grubb.
Yep, it's already looking pretty full, and Yeah, that's how it goes, though. What you said there, where it's just like we will get through these next few weeks. Like opening night live will probably be the start of it, where several of these games will get announced for February and March and April, and we'll look and be like, okay, suddenly there are 5 or 6 games just in March that are going to be taking up all our time. So, hey, I'm not really complaining. I like games coming out year round. It seems like it totally works. But yeah, and then there's still like heavy hitters. Capcom usually. Oh yeah. Have they confirmed Monster Hunter
2025
Wilds? Is that Monster Hunter Wilds? Yeah, 2025. Have they said a date? Usually those from Capcom do come out earlier in the year. So yeah, there's a lot of big stuff that could take up a lot of the oxygen.
Man. Yeah, I think that's my most anticipated game for 2025. Actually,
yeah. I'm like so ready for this to be the Monster Hunter that really gets me, and for us to play a lot of it.
Oh, February 30th.
Yep. So there we go. Already a massive thing in February. So people moving their games into February listen, February, March. Try to get out there before Monster Hunter Wilds. Oh, he was kidding. Oh, February 30th. It's not a real date, is it? No.
Silly goose.
Listen, everybody. I just read what's on the screen. Okay. If it's there, I'm just going to read it. Listen, Dan doesn't know about Celsius. Can we go back to that?
God, what has Mike Minotti taught you? Throwing your friends under the bus?
It worked so well. All right. Amazon orders animated series featuring Spelunky, New World, and PlayStation games. This is from Zach Swisen at Kotaku as well. Shout outs to Zach. Amazon Prime Video has reportedly ordered a new animated anthology series that will feature short stories set within different pre-existing video game worlds. The series is being created by Tim Miller, the same person behind Netflix's popular Love, Death, and Robots series and the first Deadpool movie. Miller's Love, Death, and Robots premiered in 2019. The series featured various short stories animated by different studios in different art styles. Episodes often revolve around a theme or topic, and stories can vary greatly, sometimes featuring robots, elements of horror, sci-fi, or even comedy. And now Amazon wants to take the same formula, but apply it to video games. On August 14th, the Deadline reported that Amazon has ordered a series called Secret Level from Miller and Blur Studio. Like Love, Death, and Robots, the new series will be an anthology and with each episode set in a different video game world or franchise. Deadline reports that some possible games that could appear in Secret Level include beloved indie platformer Spelunky, Amazon's own MMORPG New World, oh exciting, and various unspecified PlayStation titles. Each episode of Secret Level will likely consist of short stories set in these different games. Jan, does this sound like a good idea, and what games do you want to see?
Oh, 100%. This seems like a good idea. Especially there's going to be like smaller indie titles that may not have enough interest or excitement to start like a full-fledged animated series. Like I understand that the Cuphead show is very good. Castlevania anime has always been very popular, especially the League of Legends show Arcane on Netflix. But I wouldn't mind seeing some shorts.
Yeah, nothing prevents this from like, oh, if one of these does really well, they could make a whole show based on it or something. So it doesn't like preclude that.
Totally. I don't know why the first thing to come to mind was Shovel Knight. Just because Shovel Knight should just continue to be everywhere.
Shovel Knight, the weirdest thing happened with Shovel Knight was it was the like Arby's Happy Meal equivalent toy. And I would go to Arby's and get Shovel Knight toys for my kids. It wasn't even like they were like little plastic things that kind of fell apart. They were flimsy little things, but whatever. It was neat. The PlayStation games things makes me hope that it's one of them is Astrobot. I think that would be a good fit for this.
We were chatting about that, about like why hasn't Sony capitalized yet off of Astrobot's cuteness and made some type of animated shorts. Or Grubb, they just have a bunch of little animated shorts or just live action shorts of Tom Holland continuing to reprise his role as Nathan Drake.
Yep, that'd be fun too. I instead of making whole new movies, like just go be in this. Honestly, if they did it like some like Twilight Zone stuff, where like these where Nathan Drake showed up in some of this other stuff, that could be fun too. I hope they get that wild with it, because I suppose like that is what they're going for. Because just having like a bottle episode based in these worlds, like you can only do so much storytelling there. You kind of have to have some other hook that keeps people be like, why am I interested in this next episode if it's not necessarily like it's going to be new worlds from, the Amazon studios. But if there's the promise that maybe someone from another game could be infiltrating that world or causing havoc, I'll keep watching because I want to see how that goes. Either way, it's like, I think this is this is fertile ground for creators to mess around with. I think it's a good use of video game licenses where instead of trying to cram them into being something that they're not, or trying to like apply a TV show formula or a movie formula to every single one of these in an equivalent way, just kind of treat them as more malleable and work with the material that you have there. I think that's exciting.
Grubb, this is how we get back to PlayStation All-Stars.
Okay. Do we have to?
Yes. Yes.
Honestly, yeah, if it ends with everyone got their invite, like every post-credit scene was just an invite to PlayStation Battle Royale All-Stars, where the hell it's called, I'd be down.
But I remember fondly the PS2 era, mascot era of PlayStation, where I always thought Ratchet could be a good movie. They eventually turned it into a movie. But Jack and Daxter never got that love, or Sly Cooper.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of those franchises that are somewhat dormant that would be maybe a good fit for this. But do you think they do that if there's no intention to make a new game in any of those franchises?
I could see them just doing that, even if there is no intention to make a new game.
Okay, I think you're right, because at a certain point,
do something with that IP,
right? Just to keep it somewhat at the top of people's minds. Also, it's like, Amazon's paying you money, so they're paying you money for these things, and that stuff has value. So just take that money and let them play around in this world.
Snack Dad with the most brilliant shout: Ape Escape would be a good TV show.
That would rule. I would really. I like those kids shows where it's like a bunch of crazy characters doing stuff. I thought the Rabbids show was actually pretty good on Nickelodeon. I think Ape Escape could be way better than that even.
The apes from Ape Escape are primed to be Minion and Rabbit popular already.
Yes, that would be great. All right. Next story here. Asus ROG Ally to get Steam Deck OS support. Yes, there we go. This is from Darren Bonthus at GameSpot. Valve has confirmed that Steam OS, its Linux-based operating system for the Steam Deck handheld gaming PC, will be coming to the Asus ROG Ally. The company also plans to roll out Steam OS to other rival Windows handhelds, although it has noted that third-party support isn't ready to run out of the box yet. The confirmation comes after the recent release notes for a recent Steam OS beta update mentioned adding support for extra ROG Ally keys in the future. The note about ROG Ally keys is related to third-party device support for Steam OS, Valve engineer Lawrence Yang said to The Verge. The team is continuing to work on adding support for additional handhelds on Steam OS. This was always the plan, Jan. This was always what they were really going for. Steam Deck being a success is awesome for them. They're happy about that. But the reality is they've been trying to make, Steam OS and let their Linux-based, Steam gaming thing happen since they had Steam machines. And that it never really found a way to take off. Now it has footing. And the idea that rival companies, quote unquote, will be using SteamOS in any way going forward, even if it's like a dual boot option on like the ROG Ally, it's like, here's Windows, or you can go in SteamOS. And, Asus can put their layer on top of of it if they want. Don't fuck it up, but whatever, they probably will. That is always what they were going for. And now they're here. And I'm not surprised by this at all. I was listening to the PC World's podcast. And shout outs to Will Smith, who was on there, and those guys are great. It's like the one podcast in the PC gaming space where it actually has adults talking about stuff. It's great. Listen to that show, everybody. Wait, it's just like, I know, right? It's so many YouTubers are just they have to freak out to keep their audience entertained all the time, and then these people come in and are like reasonable and sober. I appreciate that podcast a lot. But they were talking about Bazite. I think it's Bazite OS, which is a ported version of SteamOS for the Asus ROG Ally, and apparently that's already pretty good and gets you most of the way there towards making the Asus ROG Ally something much more akin to a consoleized experience than what you get with the Windows system right now. So the fact that Valve's working on their own version of that maybe irons out those last few kinks, that's exciting. And for as much as Jan, I enjoy having the option to very easily get games from Epic, I have the Roger sitting over there constantly, and I almost never use it because the Steam Deck OLED is just better. It's more convenient. It works the way I need it to work, and it also helps that the battery life is way better. Like honestly, that's the biggest part. But I also just enjoy SteamOS way more. So this is exciting to me. What do you think?
Yeah, this is Steam continuing to throw its weight around and its dominance around like the PC gaming market, now the mobile PC gaming market as well. This is just a net positive for Steam as a whole. I was thinking what would incentivize me to perhaps get an Asus Roger versus a Steam Deck at this point. And I don't quite see the reasoning, but there's definitely folks that don't want to deal with Linux. They want some type of Windows device, so that would entice them that way.
If you are super into Xbox Game Pass, I think that the Ally X now at this point that came out recently. I still want to check that out. That has a faster RAM, better battery life, more SSD storage and stuff. It fixes some of the issues with that thing. It's still a worthy device in a lot of ways, as far as many issues as I have with Windows. Yeah. But I think you have to have a specific use case to choose that over the Steam Deck OLED.
Yeah, 100%. Again, if you were embedded into the Windows ecosystem, if you were a big Game Pass power user, I hate that word.
Yeah.
Then the Asus Roger is probably up your alley, and wanting to get that Steam Deck experience.
Yep. Yeah, Sean points out. Yeah, there's the multiplayer games with certain anti-cheat programs that do not like Linux and SteamOS, which is Destiny is the major one that I can think of, but there's definitely some others that work that way. There's even some that I think supported SteamOS at first and have stopped. So yeah, if you have specific use cases, definitely go for that and use Windows. But I think the long-term outlook for this is SteamOS and a version of Windows that is built for these systems that comes out in a year or so, and is branded as Xbox. And that better be real good, because if it comes out and it's half-baked, people will just go. I mean, this is a real opportunity for Linux to grow, for SteamOS to grow, and they seem like they're capitalizing on it. And Microsoft could lose some footing here if they're not careful. But they have so much money, they'll be able to come back, whatever. But yeah.
I hate myself, Grubb, that I thought, what would be great on an Asus Roger? I could finally play Final Fantasy 14 in an easy way. Yep. Even though I have it installed on my Steam Deck now, I just got to jump through a couple of loops to do it.
Yep. And all that stuff has gotten quite better. Clint Eastman says all the stores that aren't natively supported on SteamOS right away, like Epic, Ubisoft, EA, itch.io, it's gotten so easy to install those now. So yeah, the last time I tried to install Epic and get some games on there, it all worked really well. All right. Done with the headlines. Got the poll question from yesterday. When do you think the Nintendo Switch 2 will release? Let's see here. 18% think it will come in April. 18% think it will come in May. Then 20% think it'll come in summer. And 44% believe it will come in fall. So it's most people think it'll be either the spring after March or fall. And then 20%, 1 in 5 think maybe in the summer sometimes. They probably just don't want to wait till fall, but they can't admit it to themselves that they're going to have to. How are you feeling about it, Jan? What do you think?
I think I want to say a date as early as May, but I could see the tail end of summer being the actual release versus fall. I don't know why fall feels too late. I mean, it's just
right now it feels so far away. It's a whole that would mean right now the Nintendo Switch 2 is not even launching within the next 12 months, and that is tough to accept for me as well. But what I was saying on the show yesterday is that for as much as Nintendo wants to get this thing out, if they get to April and May and they're Mario's close, but it's not quite ready, maybe we could have it ready in a month. And they're well, yeah, but then we're in summer. We're not going to, I just don't think they release it in summer. So if they get to a point where there's any question, they will just move it from April or May to later in the year. And the reason we're saying April and May and not before that is the reports are, Nintendo's telling developers, do not expect it before the end of this fiscal year, which is March 31st. So, got a new poll question we'll get to in a second. Before we do that, Jan, what do we have going on the website? Where can people find you on the internet and all that good stuff?
Don't find me on the internet, folks. I
Leave
don't
him
want
alone,
you
everybody.
to.
Come on.
Absolutely don't. Don't look for me on Twitter or Instagram. But what we got popping off today, Jeff Grubb, we have Voicemail Dump Truck going on later today, tomorrow, another episode of Game Mess Mornings, as well as Unprofessional Fortnite. Nikki, it's okay. Go see your doctor.
It's okay.
I'm not going to get mad that you can't play Fortnite.
We're not going to just dump you in front of the hospital with your meningitis. Like, no.
No, do not worry. It's fine. And then next week, some of the crew, Tam, Lucy, Mike Manani, Dan Reichert, Bailey Myers, and myself will be over at Gamescom. Expect some shenanigans. Meetings are popping off everywhere to plan out Gamescom coverage. Expect a bombcast from us and a voicemail dump truck. I've yet to figure out how we're going to do a voicemail dump truck with all of us there. But we'll figure it out. It's fine. And a travelogue that I swear will come out in a timely manner.
I'm excited. Cannot wait. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, next week is August. And then B week after that, everybody buckle up. It's going to be a good time.
Bumble
up. Let's go. All right. New poll question I have right here. What big Xbox game do you think will go to PS5 next? Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite, Starfield, something else, or nothing? You can, if as you're putting the poll in, Jan, do you usually do the poll, or does Sean usually do it?
I normally do it.
If there's any other games you want to throw in there, feel free. Otherwise, that's a good list. All right, we'll get the results of that on Game Mess Mornings on Giant Bomb tomorrow. Of course, once again, speaking of Giant Bomb, stick around. Plenty more for the rest of the week. Plenty of great stuff coming next week. You can always go to giantbomb.com. Always go to youtube.com/@giantbomb. All our stuff there is usually on the live tab. But if you're on that front page, it's well organized now, thanks to Sean. So check all that stuff out.
Shouts out to Sean.
Shouts out to Sean. Shouts out to Nikki. Shouts to everybody making the whole world go around over here. Shouts out to you, Jan.
Thank you. Shouts out to you, Jeff Grubb. Also,
so
folks, if you only tune into a couple programs on giantbomb.com. You tune in for UPF Game S Mornings. Voicemail Dump Truck. Maybe you've been a lapsed listener of the Giant Bombcast. I suggest to tune back in. It has been a fun show, and it's always a fun show, but it's been a fun show as of late.
Yeah, I think we're hitting a stride of sorts. Feeling really good about it. I was going to say the same exact thing, Jan, so I'm glad you did. Go listen to that latest Bombcast. Listen to the last couple of latest Bombcasts. They've been really fantastic. All right. Anything else, Jan?
I love our audience.
Yeah, I love you all too. You're the best audience in gaming. Jan, thank you so much for speaking with me today about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
It's the only way to start a Thursday.
Until next time, everybody, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and happy February 30th.